Hey everybody, Alex here with Momentum Charting. If you are new, welcome to the channel. If not, welcome back. Do me a quick favor, jump down below. Today we are going to be talking about the chart of Moderna, MRNA. If you have not yet done so, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Also, hit the bell notification. Doing both of those things is going to ensure you do not miss a single update over the coming weeks on MRNA. So guys, let's dive into the chart here. And first I want to take kind of a broad picture. If you have been following my channel for any time, I started getting, actually Moderna was one of the very first stocks I started talking about on this channel, and I was getting very vocally bullish on the stock right here in these zones, right around July 14th. I started saying how it looked to me like it was one of the strongest stocks in the market, and it was an extremely positive momentum area, extremely positive bullishness on the RSI. The divergences look good, everything like that. So I just really like the look and feel of everything in Moderna, and obviously the rest is history up to this point anyway. It's pretty much exploded to the upside since the 14th, and we've been on this big bullish run. But the question here now is, the higher and higher I continue to see Moderna go, the more and more bearishness I'm seeing throughout the YouTube and various other media outlets, kind of hoping that or thinking that a gigantic crash in Moderna is right around the corner. And you can go through comment streams and things like that, as well as some of the popular financial channels, which are just continuing to promote the idea that there's some enormous crash getting ready to happen in Moderna. Now, guys, is that going to happen? Okay, maybe. I don't know. I have not changed my bullish stance on Moderna since the 14th, the first video I came out on it. And I could switch my outlook on Moderna to bearish at any point, but right now I'm just, again guys, I need to see the evidence laid out before me, and you need to show me some proof that there is some bearishness in Moderna and this chart before we just start saying this thing's going to crash. And I'm really not sure why so much of the public is rooting for a crash in Moderna. Maybe it's because they're short. Maybe it's because they want to get in at a better price. I'm not sure exactly the reason for it, but the harder and harder this thing pumps and continues to pump, just the more bearishness in the market I'm seeing coming out on a daily basis. So again, I've been bullish for a while on this stock. I have not changed my position one bit, but I will be willing on the flip of a switch to change to bearish on Moderna if the right set of circumstances in the stock, in the charts, were to present themselves, which to me they have not yet. So let's just take a look at this daily time frame here on the momentum. So we can see here the last few times that Moderna has had quote-unquote big corrections or crashes. One we had here, December 11th, 2020. That was a correction of around 40% from the top. So yeah, that's definitely a legitimate correction, right? And then we had another one here around February of this year. Correction to the tune of, again, close to 40%, around 37%. And then again here, if you want to call this a correction, it's just the scope of this chart is so overwhelming. But this definitely is a correction. So let's look at the size of that. About 25%. So guys, this Moderna has definitely corrected in the past, and of course, obviously, 100% in the future, Moderna will again correct in a big way at some point in the future. But is it worth just sitting on your hopes and bearish dreams of a Moderna crash right around the corner, while at the same time you're missing out on current gains that are happening right now and the potential for more upside in this stock? I don't know. That's only a question only you can answer, but I just want to kind of dig into some of the evidence I'm seeing here. So as far as these big crashes of around 40%, you can see here they didn't just happen overnight, right? Again, these are daily time frames. This crash of 40% happened here over the period of, let's see here. Let me open this other chart so I can see the days. Make it a little easier here. So this was over the period of about 30 days. Okay. This crash here was over the period of about 37, 38 days, something like that. So these crashes did not just happen like out of the blue overnight. Okay, Moderna crashed 40% overnight. No, that is definitely not how that happened. You can see here clearly the last few times Moderna has corrected in a big amount, there was ample warning, right? You could see this momentum on this daily, these rounded tops started pressing back to the downside, and especially I'm here on the 16th, 15th, 16th of December 2020, 17th, 18th, 19th of February 2020. You could clearly see there were some warning signs potentially of a momentum top in place. And with that ample warning, you can see here the levels of correction just like, we're talking maybe like 7 or 8% rather than 40% in both instances. This one here, peak was even less. So it's not like overnight, you know, you're going to get a 50% correction in Moderna just out of the blue. I mean, at least not historically. Stuff like that can happen, definitely in the biotech sector, but kind of we also need to monitor the shorter term time frames. You guys know my style. I don't just sit and look at a 12-hour chart, a 2-day chart, a 1-day chart. I like to dig into the smaller time frames to kind of see how the smaller time frames are acting as well, and try to piece that together with the biggest pieces and try to put everything together and try to formulate a reasonable expectation on future price movement for a particular stock. So anyway, back to my point, you could see these developing even here on May 5th. You could see this correction starting to develop. And right now, where are we at? And additionally, at the tops, these momentum tops back here, guys, you could see like these lower momentum points starting to form, and you could see that the momentum was slowly waning here, right? Slowly pushing sideways, then pushing down, and then you got the big pushes down, and then this thing just corrected 40% over the next 30 days. But right now, like, is that what's happening on a daily time frame? I mean, here we are, August 5th, and here's August 6th. So does this period of time here on a daily momentum chart look anything like the tops here in February 12th, 21, or in December 2020? Does this alignment of momentum look like those periods, or does it look like the period of time here where we've been pushing up higher over the last since mid-July? Which does it look more like to you? Again, I'm not saying one way or the other. I will tell you my opinion, but I'm not trying to make a decision for you. Obviously, as with everything I do, it's up to you to make your own trading decisions. I cannot be a part of that, but I'm here to give my opinions on stocks in the market and charts and what I'm seeing. And to me, what we're looking at here is looks like a lot more of a continuation of what we've been seeing the last, month, instead of the stuff back months and months ago where we had 40% corrections. Now, does that mean that this thing cannot roll over on a dime and start crashing? No, of course it doesn't mean that. But again, that's when we kind of need to dig into the more granular time frames to get an idea, because as I've said before, and as you guys probably are aware, the shorter term time frames are the ones that are the drivers of the macro time frames. All right, it's very, very important to look at the shorter time frames, 20-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, those types of time frames, to kind of get a lead signal on what potentially could be happening with the longer term time frame. So longer term momentum here, I'm just not seeing any evidence as of yet of a crash that people keep seeming to be calling for. I'm not seeing it yet here, but again, just because I'm not seeing it doesn't mean that's not going to happen. But from the evidence I'm being presented right here, I'm just not seeing the case right here for a monstrous crash / correction in Moderna. In fact, here I am getting really granular all the way down to the 15-minute momentum chart, and it looks to me like whatever down pressure Moderna has had is coming close to an end, and we potentially could be even on the shortest term time frames here eventually could potentially starting to looking to be turning back up. Now, can this thing come back down here early next week? 100%, absolutely. But we kind of need to just again take a broad look at this thing and try to get granular on some of these shorter term time frames. And again, just pay attention to these big pictures. Is what's happening now with this momentum, does it in any way resemble what happened during these 40% corrections in February and December of last year? To me, the evidence is clear. No, it does not resemble at all these crash periods, and it is more resembling this period of continued price expansion. Now, I do also want to bring you over to this chart, which you guys know I love right here, our dynamic RSI chart. Let's go to the 20-minute first, just so we can see the this dynamic trend, the strength of this dynamic trend. You guys can see here very clearly beautiful, beautiful alignment here of our dynamic trend. The blue line over the green, the dynamic trend over the 250 EMA, the 125 and 200 EMAs continuing to push to the upside. Alignment of everything here on even our shortest 20-minute time frame, just continuing to ride this series of moving averages to the upside. I'm not seeing on this short chart even any evidence yet as of a big crash here. I'm just not seeing it. What I'm seeing is continued acceleration to the upside and continued strength of this trend in Moderna, pushing to the upside, pushing to the upside, pushing to the upside. Now, if and when Moderna, of course it eventually will, starts breaking into this area below this dynamic trend line, am I going to pause? Yeah, absolutely, and think about what I'm doing, but we aren't even close to that. We haven't even breached the 125 EMA yet for over a month. I mean, we just keep riding this thing higher and higher. Where on this chart are people seeing bearishness? I just don't understand. Just because the price has sort of gone vertical, well, guys, I hate to break it to you, but in the stock market, prices can do crazy, crazy things that you never expected and continue to go in a vertical fashion for much longer than you or anyone else anticipated. Stocks and prices of stocks can do crazy things. Values, opinions of values are always changing. So it's not a good idea just to look at a chart and say, oh, that's gone vertical for 30 days. It's getting ready to crash. That's not a good way to form an opinion on the price of a stock. Okay, it's just not. So if you're bearish on Moderna just because it's gone vertical since mid of July, guys, you're making a big mistake as far as I'm concerned, and you kind of need to go back and look again at your charts and kind of how you're analyzing things. But daily time frame. Now, again, does this look like a period of Moderna getting ready to crash, or does this? Let me show you guys this daily RSI. This dynamic RSI. We are in an extremely strong area of RSI pushing to the upside here. These levels like 80 and 85, this is just like an extremely strong area. It is scary to try to short stocks when you are up in this area until you get some sort of confirmation that like there's some negative divergences or you've broken a trend line. And to me here, it's pretty clear nothing like that has even remotely started to happen yet. What in fact it looks like to me here, So it's looking a little bit like this period here, July 27th. Let me bring up the price chart as well with this, where we pulled back a little bit, kind of reset our RSI and just pushed higher from 342 up to 442. So $100 in the period of a week and change, right? This kind of looks to me like what's developing here. So obviously what I'm going to be looking for here is this RSI to potentially continue down here and push again to the upside. Now, what also can happen, and you need to be really careful for this, even at this extended level on super hype stocks, you can, from these current levels where it's at, you can pull back and then just do a short drop and then break up over these levels, which is just extremely, extremely bullish, okay? So to me, either of those scenarios would be very bullish, getting a rounded bottom type look here on Moderna, pushing back to the upside, just like we had here towards the end of July, or this type of look where we get this tiny pullback and then just break these levels at around 88. That would be really, really bullish to me. Either of those would be bullish. The only thing that would be bearish to me is if this RSI just from here started tanking and there was no rounded bottom, no attempt to push back to the upside, and we just tanked through this trend line right here. That to me would be extremely bearish, though I am not seeing any evidence yet of anything like that developing. Again, here we are on the 4-hour, operating in this extremely, extremely bullish zone of dynamic RSI. This 4-hour RSI can turn back to the upside at any point, set off some kind of positive divergence in these zones. So we just have to kind of watch this, guys, right? We kind of have to watch this and see how this develops. But definitely on a daily time frame, I want to see one of those two things develop. This RSI push down and we get a scenario here like the end of July, pushing back up, or we just start pushing up through this 88 level here and now and start taking Moderna even more vertical than it's already been. So guys, that's pretty much it for my update on Moderna. Any questions, comments, anything like that, always happy to hear them. Just wanted to bring that out about my outlook on Moderna. I have not changed my bullish view since July. Still like the looks of the stock. Yes, I do want to see what's happening with this daily RSI, but from the look of even the shortest term time frames here, you know, our 20-minute dynamic trend, everything like that, to me this still looks like this is riding this, and there is still appears to be tons and tons of bullish pressure on this stock, even in the shortest term time frames. So again, just my advice, just my own research, my own due diligence, kind of what I'm looking at in the stock. Again, do your own. Whatever you think is fantastic. So guys, if you enjoyed the update, make sure to go down below, subscribe to the channel. You are not going to want to miss a single update on Moderna in the coming days. I am going to track this daily RSI and see if we can indeed get this turn back to the upside that I'm looking for, as well as track the shorter term RSIs, shorter term momentum, see if everything's kind of looking up and we are getting ready for a spike in the near term future, even harder than it's already been on Moderna. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I will see everybody again shortly in the next update video. Bye for now.